Hi, and welcome back. Today we're going to go through anime style versus manga style versus Niji. And we're going to see which one better suits your needs. All right, so let's get into this. First prompt, of course, pretty girl. Now, as you can see, I've got the anime style, manga style, and the Niji style. Something important to remember is that if you're using anime style or manga style, you need to have that as a regular prompt, meaning comma, anime style or comma, manga style. But for Niji, you need to have at the end of the line of your line of prompts, you need to have dash dash Niji. No space between the dash, the second dash and the Niji. So dash dash, no space, Niji. Got it? Good. All right. So as we can see here, we've got some pretty interesting results. The anime style is very realistic looking, whereas the manga style is more of a flat, almost 2D style, and the Niji style is much more colorful, much more vibrant, and much more focused on the character. Now, as I was running these tests, I've came across some pretty interesting results that we'll run, that we'll get into in a minute here. So now that we've looked at this one, let's move on to the next one, which is the Tokyo street scene. I want something a little bit busier, a little bit more non-character focused. So I chose this particular one. Now, as you can see, anime style has, exactly the style that you would think it would have. It has a limited color palette, and it's very sharp lines, but not as sharp as the lines within the manga style. And then, of course, Niji over here on the end looks almost like a photograph. So if you want something that kind of crosses the line between cartoon and realism, I think Niji is more the style that you're looking for. But if you want something that's more of a comic book style, manga is better suited to that, and of course anime is more suited to the typical anime cartoon style. This kind of changes a little bit when we go into other things like dog and cat. I wanted two characters on the screen that you could easily tell between, and anime came up with exactly what I would expect an anime cat and dog to look like. Manga style, of course, followed suit by doing the exact same thing. As you can see, the color palette, as I said, in manga is much more limited. And that's fine. I mean, for that color, for that style of image, it's perfectly suited. But then Niji decided that it wanted to do something ultra cute, almost like a sticker type style. Now, Niji's all over the place. I mean, they all are at some point. But Niji goes from photorealistic to something that looks like a 12-year-old did in their sketch pad. Then, of course, girl making deliveries on her bike. I wonder where I came up with this one. Anyway, as you can see, anime and manga in this particular set of prompts is almost identical, though I do have to give the edge in this one to the manga style because the image does look a little more realistic in the fact that if you look at her legs, they're not as disjointed or on both sides on the same side of the bike as it is over here in the anime style. And then, of course, Niji over here decides that it's going to make a cartoon look like a photo and puts it in a beautiful sunset and does a really nice job. Though, as you can see, the box on the back of the bike is kind of floating there. They all have their pluses and minuses, and they seem to be a little interchangeable as we go through some of these images. Capturing a Pokemon, another anime staple, as it were. As you can see, it's exactly the same. Anime style has a better color palette, or a larger color palette and softer lines. Manga style has a more limited color palette and sharper lines. And then Niji decides to go for something much more colorful and quote-unquote realistic style. Although poor Pokemon over here has 3 years. Poor Pokemon. Then we wanted to move on to something a little bit more commercial. So from Final Fantasy XIV, we have the Makote. I'm sure I mispronounced that. But in any case, we have the anime style one here, which always, whenever I do Makote with anime style, it always puts her with a cat. I find that very interesting. She's got the cat ears, which is, nice. The Manga Style, again, with the sharper lines and the more limited color palette, decided to put human ears on her as well. And the Niji Style decided to make it look more realistic than the other two, I should say. And this is much more like the actual video game than the other two are. And then I wanted to see what it looks like as a comic style. And as you can see, the difference between anime, manga, and Niji is fairly minimal, though manga and Niji stick more to the typical Japanese comic book style that you would expect, with Niji trying to put in Japanese text, but all it is really just dots and dashes. And each one of these was made from just using this prompt, 4-panel comic page. And as you can see, neither one of them seems to be able to count to 4. And then I wanted to do something finally a little bit more complex, add in some extra prompts here. So we have full body pose, Japanese fashion model, green eyes, red top, white bottom, bokeh. And I wanted to see which one could do the most with this. Anime Style, came through in its normal style with, the slightly broader color palette and the softer lines. But Manga Style decided that it wanted to take a page from the Niji book and try and do something more futuristic or more photorealistic. And as you can see in this one, it actually got the bokeh in the background. So it tried to make it more of a photo. And then, of course, Niji decided that it was going to take it up a notch and really make it into closer to what I wanted, which was a red top, which she has, the white bottom, which she has on one of her stockings, and then the green eyes. All of them got basically the right color palettes. It's just Niji decided to put the color palettes in the right places more often than not. In any case, as a conclusion, my experience is that manga has a more limited color palette, sharper lines, and is better for sketches or comic book type images. Anime has a slightly expanded color palette, softer lines, and is typically better for cartoons. And Niji has an unlimited color palette, can blur the line between cartoon and photorealistic, but it can sometimes switch into ultra cutesy Powerpuff kind of girls type images or stickers. So you never know what you're going to get when you put that dash Niji at the end of your line. In any case, I know this is a shorter video, but I wanted to get something out there for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do feel free to leave them down in the comments, as I always love hearing from you guys. And as always, I wish you a fantastic day. Have a great one, everyone. Bye-bye.